Professor and Dr. Rafi Beyar, you come from Israel. You were a director in one of the most important hospitals in the world, not just in Israel, in the world. You are close to the border with two big enemies of Israel. So tell me, have you any stories about that impress you, being director and having to attend people from Syria, from Lebanon, from Israel, from the Arab towns?
Yeah, I have many stories, but I can share with you some stories. As you know, Rambam is the major hospital in northern Israel. It's within short rocket distance from Lebanon,
yes,
not far from Syria, and it has been a challenging years. I was director in the first year of my directorship of Rambam. I was started the Second Lebanon War, right. 2006, and the hospital was under fire for a whole, I would say, 31 days, as I remember.
Right.
No Iron Dome, no protection against missiles. Any alarm would follow with the missiles falling around you, hopefully not on you. So this was my challenge at the time of, I would say, the first conflict among the past conflicts where a hospital was attacked by rockets. Before that, usually hospitals were spared from that. So this was a new experience, and there are many stories during that.
Tell me tell me one about it.
One is with respect to the fact that we had normal routine. We had at least several dozens of alarms every day, yes. And every alarm, the hospital was not protected. Everything was above ground. I'm an interventional cardiologist, and I was doing. There was days when I used to catheterization to our patients. So in the middle of the war, I was in the cath lab, and there was a siren. The usual routine is you have to, that within 60 seconds you'll have a missile falling around you. Right. So we'll go.
60 seconds.
60 seconds.
And you were in the middle of an operation.
In the middle of operation, so you have to go and hide in safe locations, and we defined the safe locations in the hospitals where everybody who's mobile can move there. And I'm in the middle of the cath lab, and I'm with a balloon in the heart of the patient.
Yes.
The way that you do coronary angioplasty. Yes. And we are. There is everybody there. There is the technician, the nurses, the associate technician, myself, the patient. The patient is awake, by the way. The patient is awake during this procedure.
You're operating and he's awake.
All right. This is our routine. That's what we're going to do. So I tell everybody, go out, go to a safe location. I can't leave the patient. I can't leave the patient with the balloon in his heart and everything like that.
And he's awake.
So we start to chat with each other, tell jokes and everything. And indeed, after exactly 60 seconds, we hear about huge 12 bombs that fell 100 meters next to us. Oh. And after that, once you hear the bombs, you know that you're okay.
All right. That's a good idea. You're hearing the explosion and but you can't be thinking the next one can be with...
Well, we continued the operation. We put a stent in the inpatient guy. He got out safely, but we call it high-risk angioplasty. This is a medical term.
All right.
But usually the risk is for the patient, not for the team. So that's one story that really represents the reality of a hospital being attacked during operations and everything at Rambam. And there are many other stories about bringing patients from other years, bringing patients from Lebanon to Rambam, bringing patients from Syria to Rambam.
Tell me something, when you bring a patient from Syria,
yeah.
You bring them many times, not because they want, it's because you need to bring them, because they are hurt, because somebody hurt them in Syria also, you bring them. How do they react to be in an Israeli hospital and being safe in an Israeli hospital what's happened there? Because it has to be like, I don't want to be here, but I want to be here, but they saved my life, but I want to kill them. How is it that?
Well, you know, it's first of all, we treat every patient in a similar way. They usually come to the border and to a special post and sent from there to Rambam. If they are unconscious, which in some cases happen, when they wake up, they're completely confused. I mean, and they don't know where they are. But it takes the initial surprise, and then they, once they see that they are being treated regularly, they relax. Some of them say thank you, some of them don't say anything. But there is a story about some guy that really was hurt really bad. His entire jaw was completely smashed. Yes. And we had a special treatment for him. We implanted in his chin a metal chin, especially made for you, with titanium, a special metal, and we could actually reconstruct his face entirely.
Wow.
And he stayed with us almost 2 months. And then we sent him back. Initially he didn't want to be sent back, but we had to send him back. You can't, they're not citizens of Israel. Yes. So we sent him back. And you know the sad thing about it, that he comes after 6 months again with another injury in his arm through the battles in Syria. So this was again during some 10 years ago, when there was a lot of massacre in Syria among Syrians killing Syrians.
Exactly. So there's something I don't understand. How do they cross the border? How do they approach? Because there are different countries. It's not, if I want to go to the United States and stay there and say, hey, can you operate me in your hospital? They will say, go to your, in any country. If you go, how do they cross, or how do you accept them? How is it? Because many people say Israel and their enemies, but you are helping your enemies. So how do they cross? How do they come to you?
They come, I mean, they know in the border there's a post, a medical post by the army, and they
by the Israeli army.
By the Israeli army, and they know about that, and yes. They know that the treatment, and the Israeli army is favorable towards them, because even there are clashes between, you don't know who is who.
Exactly.
So anybody coming wounded to that post is treated, and if he needs a hospital, is sent to a hospital. So, and probably they know, it was a spread news between them that if you want to be treated, they don't have any opportunity to be treated in Syria. That's right. The issue. So what do you choose?
Right. It's okay. The other question is why Israel accept them and why Rambam accept them. It's a very, because you don't have any obligation. Let's say Israel doesn't have any obligation. It does it because they want to. Which is not, it's not an obligation. If there are what is happening in other countries, so why is the obligation of Rambam? You were there. Yeah. You never questioned yourself or saying, why do we accept Syrians here or whatever?
Well, first of all, our policy is we accept everybody. We also, I mean, until very recently we were accepting children from Gaza until the 23 war. And we accept everybody, but why? Because we care about life. And it was a policy also from Israel to allow it. It was a policy of Israel to allow it even with no payment.
That's why I was going to ask you.
We have to absorb that.
Yes.
We have, at the end, we argued with the Ministry of Finance who will pay it.
But the patient and Syria is not going to pay.
For sure. So we cut the loss between both of us.
Exactly. Yes. It's a service from Israel to an enemy country. It's something in... Yeah. I don't know how many Russians are being operated in Ukraine and how many Ukrainians are being operated in Russia or in other countries. That's something special in Israel. Tell me something. Does it change something in the mind of the patients you attend? Syria, Palestinian, Gaza, they change something in their minds, or when they come out, they go again and fight and say, my enemy is Israel. Does it help? Because many will say it doesn't help to anything.
Well, you know, it depends. I think it depends on the person.
Yes.
Some people doesn't help anything. Look at happened with Sinwar, who got treated
Exactly.
in Israel. And
He was operated, his life was saved in Israel.
and in some patients, it really changes things. So we heard stories from both sides.
All right. Tell me something. You were director, but also Rambam has a very special thing. I think it's the largest underground hospital. You were talking about the rockets and everything, but it has an underground hospital. How is it to be in a bunker, but he being in a hospital? How is it? It has to be a different feeling because nobody has an underground hospital like that.
Well, I'll tell you, why did we build the underground hospital? It was during my term.
All right.
Immediately after 2006 war, after I had this case of angioplasty under fire, and when I had also other cases where actually a pilot in the intensive care unit at Rambam would be vulnerable to missile attack because he couldn't move from his bed more than even in the battle.
Yes.
So I went to the government and I told them, it can't be, you have to protect the hospital. It's important to protect the hospital, similar to any other measure that you take against to ensure Israel, to make Israel safe. So it was a big debate. I insisted. We got the money from donations.
Right.
We built the underground hospital. We planned it. We built it. There's nothing like that in the world. So we have to design it ourselves.
What is the difficult? Because many will say, it doesn't have, it's just some floors under the ground. What is the difference?
Well, the difference is like that. First of all, we don't have enough space at the hospital.
Right.
So we have to be really very mindful about space. So this space was planned for a parking lot for 1,500 beds. So the idea is, let's build it as a hospital, not as a parking lot.
Right.
That means everything is in the walls. The oxygen, the gases, the electricity, the computer system, the IT, everything is in the walls. But during peacetime, it really is arranged like a parking lot. 3 spots of cars turn into 8-bed facility or something like that. And we built it, we planned it for the entire hospital for 2,000 beds because this was also a requirement from the government. We initially opposed that, but then said, if you do that, do it not only for yourself, for Rambam, but for the region itself, from other hospitals. So we built it for 2,000. We started it, the war was in 2006. We started in 2008. We finished it 2014. We used it for the corona for the first time, because it was something...
5 years later. Before that, it was a parking lot.
Yeah.
Somebody remember it was a part of the hospital?
It's still a parking lot.
Yes, I know.
Once we finish with the risk, then all the patients go back to the main hospital, and the car comes back into the parking lot. So it's a regular parking lot. It turns into a hospital within 72 hours. You have to clean everything, build some, So
72 hours you have from a parking lot to a hospital. To a complete hospital with emergency, with everything.
Everything is there. Now, obviously, you don't have private rooms.
Yeah, all right.
I mean, you give up something and for security and for safety. And we had this facility operated during COVID, and we had this facility operating 3 times during this current war. The most, I would say, intensive time was during the war with Syria, when we moved underground, and I mean, we stayed there like almost 2 months, and not with Syria, with Hezbollah. And the patients thanked us for safety. They complained that sometimes there's no privacy, so we try to, get more.
There is no light, natural light.
Natural light, but still, I mean, safety. We had children born there. We had C-sections done there. So, I mean, it was really operational, full operational, and it has amazed me how it worked so well. How the staff know exactly each position.
Yes, because you can change in 72 hours, you can change to the hospital. But you don't know where is everything. You are not working there every time. You know that your parking lot is there.
Yeah.
But you don't know where is the oxygen, where are the lights, where are everything.
But before that we had drills. It's not that we do it. We had drills, but it's different for a drill than real life.
Yes, we know. We know that about when we have earthquakes and everything. It's different from that drill than the real happen.
But I'll tell you, this was so important because first of all, the Rambam did not have to stop its other activities during all the wars. The other hospitals had to limit activity because Ministry of Health told them, keep half of the wards empty for possible injuries. Yes. We didn't have to do that. We continued the operation of the hospital throughout the entire war, and we kept the underground hospital as a facility that will allow us to be sure that we can accept patients of our injuries, and also to accept patients from other hospitals around us. 5 hospitals actually from around us actually merged into that was another major challenge. How do you get children and 6 children from other hospitals as well as other patients with the staff, with the other hospital staff there? They have their own, they get their own location, but they have to integrate with the hospital system. So I think something that we learned about it, something that I'm sure that we already know a lot of people from the world would come here and learn about, because disasters can happen.
Yes, it's not only war, you say COVID, or it can happen an earthquake, or it can happen anything, many things.
Yeah.
You are secure about it. In Israel, there are not earthquakes. There are other, but
so far there's no history there is.
All right, yes, I know, but you have to have to implement that. We see histories about when it rain too much, inundations, you have flow, you have many other things, and the hospitals and everything they cannot be used because they are not prepared for this kind of thing. In this case, Rambam is prepared for everything.
So Rambam is really prepared, fully prepared for all kinds of emergencies, for what we heard about, for possible wars, and for regular treatment of which is our main line of business of treating patients.